Hi everyone, I'm really excited to record this video for you. This is obviously an Amazon package that I received. I got this yesterday. Obviously I've had a little peek inside, but I was really excited to discover that somebody has very kindly sent me this beautiful set of pencils from my Amazon wish list. Now that lovely lady was Julie, and she is a subscriber to my YouTube channel. And she sent me a lovely thank you note in with it for the tutorials, and she sent me this set to play with. So I'm massively grateful. I'm absolutely thrilled, very excited, and I can't wait to sort of open them up and have a look. Now they're sealed in some polythene, which I need to try and open. So sorry about this as I slightly struggle. In fact, I will get some scissors and open them. I hope this viewing angle's okay. When I'm zoomed out, sometimes it looks a little bit strange, I think. But I can't always, I'm not very good at getting the camera quite always lined up right. But hopefully it'll be okay. Oh gosh, it's a bit of a struggle. I'm excited and it's not helping me with doing this. Right, I've got the first bit off. Here we go. There we go. Now I'm mega excited with this set because it's the set that Johanna Basford, oh sorry about the rustling, has been sending out to people with copies of her Worlds of Wonder book. So I've been thinking about it and wondering what it was like. So this is lovely. I'm just going to put my lamp on. I think it might help when we open up the box, the tin. So I'll open up the tin and see what's inside. So we've got a lovely leaflet which says Create a Coloured Pencil Botanical Illustration in 5 Easy Stages, and it's got a little swatch pattern of all the pencils, some of their other sets, and there's a sort of a step-by-step guide on how to do the illustration that's on the front of the box. So that's quite fun. I might have a look at that later. And then we've got something a bit more about I think this is an advert for all their products, so I shall put that to one side. And here are all the lovely pencils. Now I noticed they've got black barrels, which is interesting. I haven't got any others with black barrels, and we've got a selection of different colours. I'll push it up a little bit so you can see. So we've got quite a few greens, which is nice, some blues, purples, pinks. It's quite a nice range, and some browns as well. I'm not liking the order they're in, to be honest. I wouldn't put the black there, for example, and the white there. So I may have to change that, but that's lovely. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to swatch them out. I never do that with pencils. I know people love to do that. They say it's fantastic, but it's just not me. I just like to crack on and get colouring. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to pause, grab a book, line it up under the camera, and we're going to have a go. And I shall talk you through all the different colours as I go. I'll just run through the box and try them all out, and we'll see how they go. Right, I have got this picture. This is from Worlds of Wonder, from the ticket page. I've just noticed I've got a little bit of transition ink has come across on the next page. I'm just going to rub that out. I actually the next page is the red bust. Oh, I just rubbed out something I coloured as well. Oops. The next page is the red bust, and I've drawn on the windmill, which is missing. It's a whole long story about the missing windmill, which if you follow Johanna Basford's lives you would have heard. And I drew it in pencil, and the graphite's transferred. Now, I know with some sets of brand new pencils you need to sharpen them before you go. I've no idea with these, having not used them before. So what I'm going to do is just grab them and have a go, and see what happens really. And if I think they need sharpening, I'll grab my sharpener. I'm going to start. This is the cadmium orange. It's very bright. I'm just making myself a little more elbow room because I've got quite a lot of things on my desk. There we go. I don't want it all tumbling to the floor. And I'm going to do the mushroom in a sort of orange to red transition. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to start with the orange here. Oh, it's nice and smooth, I have to say. I don't know if these are wax or oil based pencils. I don't really know much about that anyway, so I usually just colour and see what happens. What I think I'll do with these is do a layer. Oh, hang on. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab the white. This is a titanium white. Sorry, it's a bit blurred. There we go. And I'm going to go over these dots in the white and I'm going to try and burnish it really hard into the paper. And then if I accidentally go over them in the orange or whatever other colours I use, I'm hoping that it won't go over the lines, and we'll see if it works. This one's feeling a tad scratchy in parts, probably because it needs sharpening, but most of it is deliciously smooth on the paper. There we go. So now that's coloured in white, and we'll put the white aside because excuse me, I want to make sure that I use all of the colours. And the white is a tricky one to use, isn't it, on white paper or cream paper? So we'll see. Now I'm finding it quite hard to get any even colour here, but that's because of the fact that I'm trying to colour around these circles. It's got nothing to do with the pencil. Now I'm going to do a second layer of the orange over most of this, darken it up a little bit. Be interesting to see how much we can layer up, because I was watching a very interesting video from Colour with Claire the other day, and she was talking about how with Prismacolor you can't layer up the colour as much as you can with polychromos, and I thought that was quite an interesting observation, having not many Prismacolors myself. I haven't really played around with that, but that's quite interesting. Now I'm going to grab my red now. This red here is the red ochre. Look at that, it's a lovely colour, isn't it? And I'm going to go on this edge, and I want to get this bit dark. This isn't quite sharp enough for my liking. I always get nervous sharpening new pencils for the first time. I'm just going to have a go. There we go. I didn't really need to sharpen the pencil, just the end. I just used my Staedtler Norris sharpener there, and it worked a treat. And now I can really get a nice layer of red down. The reason that sharpening helps, just in case you don't know, is I think because it can push the colour down into the paper more. The paper has what's called a tooth. It isn't completely straight, a flat I mean, and so the pencil reaches into the little areas on the paper. And if you're using a sharper pencil, then you can get down into more of those little areas, or deeper down into those areas, so it will look more intense. But I'm reducing the pressure now on this because I don't want to take the red all the way to the end. I want it to look like there's a transition of colour, which I think we're getting there. The best way to finish, I find, with this is to go over with a yellow and try and pull it all together. Now we've got a golden yellow, which I looked at that end and thought, oh, that's an ivory or a cream, why is it called golden yellow? But look at that, wow, I love that. So I'm going to have a go with that. I'm going to start here, and what we should find is it will brighten it, it will burnish it slightly because I'm pressing quite hard, it will blend it, and it will just bring it all together really nicely, I hope. Yeah, I like that. There is another yellow in the set. We'll use that somewhere else and play with that a little later. But this one is working. I don't know how well you can see in the shot, but I can definitely see that it's bringing the colours all together. It's helping them to look smoother, which is exactly what I wanted. It isn't as bright as I thought by looking at the end, actually. I can see why that is a more dull colour. It's certainly brighter than the end there. And I like it because had it been cream, it might have been tricky to use because of the paper being quite creamy. But being that colour, that's fabulous. Now the base of the mushroom, I would normally do a grey. So I'm having a look at what I have got. Excuse me. And I have got a Payne's Grey. Now Payne's Grey is an interesting colour. I'm going to sharpen it because I need to get into a little corner. Payne's Grey usually has some purple in it, and I'm going to do the underside of the mushroom here, I'm just looking to see, this is the only grey I've got, so usually I do the whole of the mushroom in grey when I do my mushrooms. I do them quite similar, the base part, but because this is quite a dark grey, I may not. I'm just thinking as I'm colouring. So I'm doing it darker at the front where there's a sort of shadow from this sort of overhang here. So there we go. That's quite nice. It doesn't look overly purpley like a Payne's grey might be, but I think it's quite a nice general purpose grey, because obviously being the only one, it's not too dark, it's not too light. What I'm going to do is just do a little bit, and I'm going to add in some white in a minute and see how whether we can sort of blend it up a bit. It's doesn't always work. It wouldn't work if I was using polychromos, but we'll see. So you see I've sort of put less layers towards this centre area, which I want to be really light. Now I'm going to grab my white. I'm just checking the ends nice and clean, because obviously I don't want any other colour, but I only used it for those round parts which were white anyway. I'm going to start on the lightest area and move out towards the darker area, and then I won't spread the really dark intense grey onto the lighter bits, but I'm not sure that it really is blending that well. But I might try sharpening it, as that often helps. And we'll go again. Ooh, I'm getting a bit of breakage now, because I did it too sharp. There we are. It's certainly smoothing it, which you may not be able to see. So there we go. There's a bit of white. Now I have to have a little think about colours. There's lots of green. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 greens. I can't tell if this particular colour I'm looking at is green or blue. We've got pinks, we've got all sorts. I'm thinking, because we've got stripes, we've got all sorts of sections. Got 2 more yellows we can use. Maybe I'll do some stripes behind the mushroom in green. And maybe I'll do all the shades of green for the stripes so we can look at them all, which could be fun. So I'm just grabbing them all for a minute. Whoops. They're going to roll away. We've got... Actually, I think those 2 might be green as well. I think we might have all of these. We've got phthalo green light. We've got this colour called viridian, which I'm not sure about. We've got permanent green. We've got sap green. We've got leaf green light, and we've got oxide of chrome. I'm gonna this viridian. I don't know what colour it is, so I'm just gonna use my scrap here to scribble. That's green. Okay, that's good. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 6 greens here. How many lines have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, Johanna, really? 11? I think, right. So what we're going to have to do, I think we'll do the top and bottom the same green, then the next 2 the same green, the next. So rather than trying to go that way, I know what I mean. You'll see as I go. Now this is quite a dark green, so I thought I'd do it top and bottom. Wow, it's very smooth. I need it sharper. I'm obsessed with sharp pencils. I know some people hate sharp pencils. They like colouring with a less sharp one, and that's okay. But I like to be able to get into the corners and edges. What I'm going to try and do is do a darker application here on the edge, so I'm doing more layers here, and then reducing them towards the middle and lightening it up and seeing how well we can get different shades just with the one colour, and I think that's looking lovely. It's really working well. Look at that. I like that, and you can really see a big difference between here and here. That's nice. Now I'm going to do the top layer. I'm just going to, this scrap of paper that I used, oh gosh, I'm sorry, that focus went bonkers, didn't it? I'm going to use to lean on because I don't know how smudgy these are going to be. I shall experiment with that myself, not on this page, obviously, but to see, because I've actually found in this Worlds of Wonder book that my polychromos seem extra smudgy, and I don't know if it's because maybe I'm adding extra layers or using dark colours. I was using red yesterday, it was going everywhere. I was using this piece of paper to lean on, which is why it's here. And so I don't know if the paper is extra smudgy or if it's just me, but I have been using fixative on some of my pages. There we go. Now that was the Viridian green, which I think is rather nice. I'm going to go for the next green. That one looks quite blue. I'm just going to scribble with it. Says Mrs. I never do any swatching. Oh no, that's okay. That's quite nice. And what's this one? I reckon this is in between. Oh no, that's light, isn't it? Crikey. That one's definitely light. What's this one? Oh, that's lovely. It's got that one and that one and that one. Okay. Right, we use this one next, which is the Oxide of Chrome. I like it. I'm going to just do a mini sharpen just to bring that lead to a point and start at the top. Is it staying in focus? I don't, sometimes it decides not to stay in focus. You see, this is quite dark, but it's a lovely, I love this shade. I love these sorts of, I would say an olivey green. We're going to struggle to get a nice light centre on some of these because the mushroom's going to be in the way. But anyway, it'll be okay. That's a bit messy, isn't it? Let's just tidy that up a bit. That top one is as well. I'm just going to tidy that up too. There we go. Right. Put a little bit more colour down here. Just lighten it. Yeah, I like that colour. There we go. And do the same at the bottom. So we won't need to fade this one down quite so much because our mushroom's in the way. Interestingly, the other day I looked up what the difference was between mushrooms and toadstools because I use the terms interchangeably, and apparently it's to do with whether they're poisonous or not. And so how would you know? Sap green is my next choice. I'm going to again start at the top. Sharpen first, just a tad. All I do is gently turn it and the sharpener just takes away, just adds a little point to the end of this pencil. I'm always so nervous sharpening brand new pencils. You feel like it's almost, well, although saying that, when I order Prismacolor sometimes they come unsharpened and so you have to sharpen them or else you can't use them. But when they come, I mean, often they come with quite flat ends. These are like that. I think it's something to do with how they sit in the box. I guess the ends might snap off if they were too sharp. Anyway, but I always feel a bit nervous, like, you know, it's no longer perfect, but then as soon as you use it isn't. But I have to give myself a stern talking to. You know, you haven't bought them to look at them. I'm sure Julie didn't kindly give me these pencils so that I could just look at them in the box. Right, now I'm trying to remember which was which. That one was quite a bluey one. I think I might leave that one actually. This is the permanent green, which I'm going to put next. So again, a quick little sharpen, just a tiny turn. As I say, it doesn't even take away any wood. Just brings the point, a point onto it for me. Well, that's a bit dark. Oh well, I think it's okay. I was going to sort of do a dark to light, but I don't think we've succeeded in that anyway, because the top one I think is probably lighter than the next one, so never mind. It's just a random green mix. I'm sure it'll work. I've only done one other of these tickets, and I did it with 12 polychromos as a little experimental video. So this is sort of my experiment page, but in a nice way. Sometimes my experiment pages are a bit messy and nasty, but this one certainly isn't going to be. It's going to be lovely and fun. Right, leaf green light next. So I think this will definitely take us down to a slightly lighter colour. Now sometimes I find that the lighter colours are smoother in some sets of pencils. In the Arteza Premium, certainly the lightest green seems to be the smoothest pencil in my tub. This one isn't any smoother, but they are all very smooth, which is rather nice. Because I said that about the Arteza when I reviewed them, and then I found that a few of them aren't as smooth as others. It's really weird. Some of them are smoother. So the last green, which is the Phthalo green light. That's interesting. See how that's spelled P-T-H-A-L-O? On my polychromos, the word phthalo is spelled P-H-T-H-A-L-O. How interesting. Anyway, I think it's interesting. Maybe you don't. Now I thought this was a slightly bluey one, but going down, I think it isn't. I think it is a little, but it's not. I'm not confused. I'm not thinking, hey, that's blue. It's certainly green. It's very pretty. There. So there's our stripy green, slightly psychedelic background. Now we have got these circular parts. Now I've got quite a few colours left still, so I'm trying to think about what to do. I've got 2 blues, a brown, a pinks, purple, yellows, brown, more browns, and lilac. What colour is this? I'm just looking. Cadmium red. I've got a red. Look at that. Maybe I should have used that for the toadstool. Maybe I will go over a bit. I know we've sort of blended it up with the yellow, but maybe I'm going to add a bit on this corner. Oh, look at that. I mean, I realise it's on top of the other colour, so we can't see its true colour, but that's lovely. I like that intense colour. Mustn't take it too far across. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so I've got look at this pink. It looks very neon-y rose pink. I'm going to use this next and see. I haven't got a pink like this as far as I know, so that's quite fun. So let's have a go. I'm going to do these circles. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I've just been eating some toast and some crumbs have decided that they're still around from somewhere and jumping into my throat. Ooh. So I'm going to go round and then I'm going to try and just going to hold my page because it's moving around, make a lighter layer in the middle and see how if it fades out. Oh, that's lovely and smooth. There we go. It produces a bit of debris, but it blends really smoothly. I find I get debris from some brands and not others. That one's not as dark around the edge. This might end up looking a bit weird because of the mix of colours, but hey ho. Try and make it work. It looks this bit almost like a sort of stained glass windowy bit. I'm not sure. To imagine if bus tickets all really look like this. How colourful. I showed my son the one that I'd done already. And he said, well, that doesn't look like a ticket. I said, well, what do you mean? So, excuse me. He said, well, they're orange. He's talking about a train ticket in the UK. train tickets are orange and white. Now this is the purple. Look at that. Oh, it's luscious. Let's give it a sharpen. There we go. And what I'm going to do with the purple, so I'm going to go on these on the sort of inside corner bits. I don't know what to call them. Oh, that's lovely. Look at that colour. Wow. That's really funny because I was watching Suzanne Wimpney Berry do a colour along. It might have been a live, I can't remember. And she was saying how she got a packet of these from Johanna when she was gifted her book. And she said because they're a budget pencil, she honestly thought, she only admitted this after she'd been using them for a while, she honestly thought she wouldn't like them. She's a big fan of Prismacolor, as far as I can tell. And yet she said as she was using them, she really liked them and she couldn't find any fault with them. And I'm finding them the same. I was certainly not determined not to like them. I've got a lot of budget sets that I really like. Not cheapy, you know, supermarket brand type sets, but fairly like the Ergosoft. I would say they were a budget set, even though they're sort of student grades and not children's as such, even though my children use them for school. And the Arteza are a budget set too, and I like them. So, but also I have got a lovely set of Derwent Lightfast, which are definitely not a budget set, and I'm very much in love with my Caran d'Ache Luminance white pencil. So, you know, you can have a mix. You don't have to go for one or the other. And I think it's good because sometimes with the expensive ones we get a bit worried about using them up. So having something that's not so expensive that works really effectively like these, you know, it's fantastic. Now I'm going to use another purple now. This is the Heather purple. It's rather pretty. I shall sharpen it quickly. There we go. And decide which bit to do. I think this bit, I'm just being a bit random because I haven't really planned what I'm doing. My husband, by the way, he's just gone off to work. He would be absolutely livid if he saw what I was doing. What I'm doing is that once I've used one of these pencils, I'm taking it out of the box and popping it on the table. And they're getting all mixed and muddled up colour-wise. Now, he is, some of you might be the same. When he gets a new box of art things, pencils, paints, whatever it might be, he takes a photograph of the box so that he knows the order that they're in, so that whenever he takes them out he can always put them back in exactly the same place, because he thinks that the manufacturers have, you know, put them in the right order. I say in quotes, without quotes because I'm talking. And so he cannot bear for that order to be changed, whereas I change the order and put things in an order that suits me, which drives him absolutely bonkers. This is the mauve. Look how pale it is. Now, it's quite funny. See that? That's the mauve. This is the Polychromos mauve. It's the darkest purple in the box. Isn't it funny? It shows that you can't really go on a name as to what to expect from a colour. Though I do like knowing the names because it just helps me sort of know what's going on really with the pencil. Like that one that was called Viridian, which probably means green, who knows. I was confused because I didn't know what the name meant, whereas I know with mauve we're getting a sort of purple, but obviously this is what I would call a lavender, but it's pretty, isn't it? I'm trying to work out what's next. It's that one. I'm talking away too much and I'm a bit distracted today, to be honest. My boys have gone off to school and one of them is not feeling very good, so I'm a bit worried about him. He's well, but he had a new brace fitted and it's really painful and it's changed the way he looks. It's, if any of you know about braces, it's called a twin lock, I think, and it's changing the shape of his jaw so he looks different. He's too scared to speak. It's really painful and uncomfortable, and I know he'll get used to it, but it's, you know, obviously I'm worried for him. He's lucky he's got a group of friends, and they should, and his twin brother as well, so ultramarine. So he should be looked after, but he's just so floppy at the moment. As soon as he takes it out, because he has to take it out to eat, he chatters away and talks and talks, and then soon, oh, I like this colour. As soon as it goes back in, he's silent. So I'm sure I've been reading up on them, because I've never known anyone with one before, although he tells me there is a boy in their year that did have one. But I gather they're not always on for that long. So as long as he perseveres with it, he won't need it for that long. So, and he's doing really well, but he's tired because he can't sleep because it's uncomfortable. But luckily he wasn't in school yesterday. They were doing remote work, learning, because there was some building work going on in the school. So he had a day at home to sort of get used to it. And also I told him a few things that some children apparently get really dribbly when they wear it, and he didn't have that at all. So I said, at least you're not like that, so that's better. Trying to make him feel a bit better. I don't know whether it really worked, but anyway, now we have got the, a name I can't say, cerulean blue light. I don't know. I was doing some revision with the boys just the other day, and every page, it was science, every page I pronounced the word wrong, and they corrected me. And I was like, oh dear. Oh, look at this colour. Wow, I love this colour. That's gorgeous. That looks like the sky today. It's as blue as blue. It's beautiful. And I haven't really told you what I'm doing with regards to technique on this colouring, but I'm hoping that you can see that I'm just putting more layers down on the outside and reducing it towards the middle. The reason I'm using this technique here is so that I can just see it's instead of doing a swatch. When people swatch colours, they do a hard to light application so they can see how it looks at different pressures, or, you know, as you build the layers up, what the colour looks like at different intensities, I suppose. And so I'm doing the same thing, but doing it on a picture. I just find swatching, for me, it just wastes time. I just want to get on colour. I'm sorry. And I know people say, well, you can get exactly the right colour. And sometimes I will do this and to choose the right colour quickly. And maybe if I had a swatch book and I went there, it might be quicker. But I just want to get on and enjoy my book. You know, these are beautiful, blending really nicely. Now I've got a last gap, and all my colours that I've got left are browns and a black. So I'm going to do it black, because I don't think browns. I'm going to use the browns for the outside of the ticket. Or maybe we might try some on the circles, but we did put white on there. So it's called Ivory Black. And we'll just do this one. I'll start at the top actually. Now it's interesting because I never used to use black and white very much in my sets, but I started using them a lot more lately. Black for me can be quite dirty in the sense that it can carry across and smudge into other colours, so you have to be really careful with it. If you're using it for shading and things and you want to just darken something slightly, sometimes it isn't the best colour. But saying that, the facing page to this, I've been using black on a tree for shade, because for shadow I should say, because the tree is, that black works really well I think in there. The tree, it's a pine tree, so it's quite dark. I'd used up all my darkest greens and I still wanted a bit more intensity in some areas for more shadow, so I just popped a little tiny bit of black in and it worked really well. Right, now we're with all our browns and yellows actually, not just browns, browns and yellows. I'm going to grab this cadmium yellow first. It's a lovely colour, and I'm going to do, well, actually I'm thinking of this bit down here. I'm thinking maybe I do a couple and I do a little transition in colour. I use the yellow ochre as well. I'll show you. is the yellow ochre. And I'll start with the yellow ochre, top and bottom. Ooh, I didn't sharpen that very carefully. There we go. My sharpener's already getting a bit blunt. It's hardly any time since I changed the blade, but I've been using it so much. I was counting the other day how many pictures I've completed in Worlds of Wonder, and I think I've done nearly, now I'm going to go in with the cadmium yellow, I've done nearly a quarter. It's just bonkers. I mean, I haven't been doing any backgrounds, so that, you know, speeds things up. But it's, and I have been picking the smaller, the easier pictures, to be honest. So that's quite effective, I felt. No, they blended in nicely. And now I've got 3 left, which is good for the last bit. So we've got raw umber, terracotta light and burnt umber. And here are the ends for you to see. What I'm going to do is start with the darkest and do the corners of the ticket, and then sort of shade it round a little bit to lighten it in as we go. You'll see. So start here. This is our darkest brown. It's quite a nice brown, isn't it? It would be good for sort of tree trunks, pine tree trunks and things. I'm just going to fade that out and just do a little bit here and then fade it down. Yeah, I've had a bit of a job with the boys going to school. I had Sunday night, I had the other son, not happy about returning to school because they've been off on Easter, and he struggles a bit in school, to be honest. He's academic, he gets on with the work, his grades are absolutely fantastic because he works so hard, but it's just the other kids really, you know. He struggles with getting on with people, but he seems to have very recently made friends with a girl in one of his lessons, and she seems to be rather nice and friendly, so I'm hoping that's good. But they'll be leaving school soon and be off to college, so I just have to keep jollying him along. He's been this. He got a little better, but he's always been the same really about school. He's just never liked it that much. Okay, so that's that one. Going to move on to the raw umber, which is the next sort of next lightest. I don't know how to say that. And I'm going to overlap here where I started to reduce the amount of brown. I'm going to go over it. We haven't got any messy blending. Now here I've gone out of the lines, but never mind. I want to get lighter. I'm just going to hold the page down over here so because it's moving around, it's making it a bit tricky for me. Try and lighten it down so that we can use the terracotta light at the end just to finish it off really. So but I've never really told them that I wasn't that good at school either. It wasn't something I enjoyed going to. Everyone, oh, the school years are the best years of your life, and not for me. University, now that was where I had fun. Fantastic. You could go in, didn't have to go in very much if you didn't feel like it. Lots of friendly people, casual and relaxed. For me, the course I was on was very easy. The work was easy. I kept on top of the work easily. I still lived at home, so I had all the luxuries of being at home. I had a full student grant, even though I was at home, so I had loads of money, and I just had a whale of a time. So that is, but my boys are going on to college, they'll be 16. And I never went to college at 16. I stayed on at school. Their school doesn't do the 16 to 18. So that will be new for them. And I'm hoping, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that they'll enjoy that more. Now, we've got the terracotta light. This might not be my last layer. What I'm going to do with this, just sharpened a bit of the wood by mistake. This is this colour look. To me that doesn't look very terracotta-y. But anyway, I'm going to go over the whole thing to try and sort of draw it all together, blend it up, and take it right up together in the middle here. And if it doesn't quite blend nicely, we can add some other colours in or go back in with some of the colours, but actually I think that's working. As long as I use a decent amount of this, it seems to be working nicely. So this pack, just so you know, there are 24 colours. So it's the botanical pack. So this doesn't, for me, feel like there's anything obvious missing that I might want. They're not pastel-y, they're quite bright, which I like. I have got some pastel pencils. I've got the Holbein pastel tone set, and I find that you can't do blending with them very well. I mean, you can't do this. Let me get my words out properly. Here, where I've gone dark to light, I find with the pastel pencils you can't do that. I don't know if that's just because of the Holbein brand and what they're like, and I will be getting some more Holbeins very soon, so I will test those out. Only a few open stock ones. In the UK, Jackson's Art now sell the open stock Holbeins, so my husband's ordered me a few for my birthday. I chose the colours. I have to add, I pick some greens, because I always pick greens to test with, because if I don't like the brand that much, will always use a green, because there's so much green in Johanna's books and I like green, so it's always good to have lots of green. So I'll test those out and I shall let you know because I wonder if it's just the pastel ones that don't blend very well and whether the darker ones are better. I'm just going back over bits of this that I think need a little extra. Ooh, I try and make sure I blow the bits away, because I know what it's like. You're watching a video and there's bits, and either you think it's on your screen and you try and rub it off, or you try and blow it for the person that's doing it, or it just irritates you and you're shouting, "Rub that bit away!" at the camera, which isn't much fun. It's quite distracting. Right, I think I am almost there and very, very happy. So there we go. So I need to say an absolutely huge thank you to Julie, because I absolutely love this set of pencils. They're gorgeous and I can't wait to try them again. I will be doing some more videos with them and trying them out on all sorts of other different things. So there we go. So thank you so much for watching. I will leave a link to where you can buy these from in case you're interested in having a go yourself. As I say, they are a budget set, so they're more affordable than some sets, but as I say, I'm impressed. So there we go. So thank you very much for watching and happy colouring.